Hi, this is Josh Ezell with Breakthrough Real Estate and Property Management. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Today I am sitting with Fred James, one of my incredible agents here at Breakthrough, and we wanted to share with you today about his listing he has up near the Mogollon Rim. Now, Fred, tell us a little about this property.
Well, this is my listing, but it's also my personal property that I am selling. I developed this property back in 1995, 96. When I first bought the property, it was heavily forested with trees. You couldn't hardly walk through the lots. There's two lots, a little over 2 acres, and I had to, during 1995, cut down many of the small trees that was on the property in order to even see where I could lay out RV spaces.
Now, what was the name of this ranch?
It's Rocking J RV Ranch. That's the name of the park.
That's great. And so it's kind of, I love how you have the ranch feel
Right.
with the overhead sign and...
Yeah, it's a western theme with a gate over the driveway, and that's a 30-foot pole across the driveway, and it has wagon wheels at each end of it. The sign is a slab of wood that has the name imprinted on the slab showing the Rocking J RV Ranch.
Okay, let's catch up to the video here that they're watching a little bit. So, there's how many spaces?
There's 19 spaces.
19 spaces, and they all have...
They all are full hookup spaces with water, electricity, and sewer.
Okay.
And the sewer is a septic tank system. And this shot of this video is done after the park had been closed down in the winter of 2017, and that's why you see tarps over the top of them.
What is the average temperature up there during the summertime versus the wintertime?
We hardly ever reach 80, 85 degrees. We're almost at least 30 degrees cooler than the Arizona Metro Valley is.
So, did you catch that during the summertime when it's 115 here, it's about 85 down there, or up there rather?
That's correct. That is correct. And as we walk through the park here, you will see a fence back in the back. That's a fence all the way around the property. It's a privacy fence, and it's made out of wood, and it's 8 feet high.
Do you, does it keep the critters out? What's the main purpose? Because I would hope that you still get to see all the wildlife, right?
Yeah, main purpose of the fence was to screen the park from residential lots on the adjacent sides.
Okay, so what kind of wildlife could either a camper or an owner?
Well, we have wildlife starting with small cottontail to blue jay birds, robins, in the bird family, hummingbirds. They're plentiful up there when you feed them. Squirrels, and those are the small game. Then we lead into very large elk herds up there. Many people hunt elk up there. We have deer, a few bear. They've been into the park before, coming into the dumpster and bears like to dumpster dive and pick up any food items that they can.
Now, are there, as we're looking at the different types, you see that the RVs are ranging in sizes. Is there a max size or anything that anybody should watch out for or need to know about?
Some of the spaces are larger than others, which might accommodate a larger unit. For the most part, the park was developed with providing quite a bit of space around between the RVs to give the tenant a better feel for not being crowded.
How many trees would you say each spot might have?
Oh, anywhere from 5 to 8. The trees that we left have grown quite considerably over the last 20 years. So thinning out the small trees has given the ability for the larger trees to grow better.
It's a beautiful park. I love it. I mean, coming from Phoenix, we don't have trees like this all over. As we're walking through, a couple things. Number one, there aren't many vacant spots. How many of your tenants are staying on a pretty much permanent basis, or at least keeping their spots?
In the 20 years that I have owned and operated the park, I have never had a vacancy. In fact, I have many people that will go on a waiting list just for in case one of my tenants leave. And most of the time, the only reason why they've left is either health reasons or they passed away. So occupancy is not a problem with having tenants in the park.
Do most of them leave their stuff up there year round?
A lot of them have storage units, and they will leave some of their items that they use through the summer. The RV themselves are usually, for I'd say 95% of them, leave the units in place and they winterize them. That's why you're seeing tarps over the top of them.
Now, the one we're looking at currently, that's a really nice patio, and I see a couple more right there. Have I guess the tenants, they are classified as tenants, correct?
Yes.
So have the tenants actually built those themselves?
Yes, they have. Yes. They're responsible for developing their own space.
So that pretty much means, though, that like for that one there that we're looking at, how long has that tenant been there? Or the other one with the other nice kind of wrought iron fence there?
Yeah, the one with the wrought iron deck, they've been with me for at least 15 years.
That's amazing. Oh, pretty good landlord, I imagine, then. So, how much does do the spots go for? For owners, somebody that might be interested in potentially purchasing this property, or for the renters too, what do each spot go for on average?
Okay, I have increased prices because of cost and expenses, but the 1918 fees for a full hookup space is $1,600, and they pay all their own electricity. I provide water and sewer. If they leave their unit through the winter, that's another $150, and that is pretty much what I charge. I'm about $400 under other like-type properties and RV parks in that area.
So there's significant room to increase potentially.
Yes, there is.
Okay. Right now we're looking at a manufactured home. So tell us a little bit about this.
Okay, I had this home custom built. I designed the floor plan, and I had it built, and the manufacturer of this double wide was in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And it's about 1,600 square feet. It's 2x6 framed walls, low E windows, and pretty much.
You said how many square feet was it?
A little over 1,600.
1,600 square feet, and it's a 2-bedroom?
It's a 2-bedroom.
And 2 baths?
2 baths, yes.
Okay. And currently, you're not actually renting out this unit. You're actually occupying this unit.
Right. We use it as our own quarters for the summer.
Okay. And for somebody, a potential buyer, this is a wonderful place to stay. Or if you happen to might want what would be like on-site management potentially too, or somebody who's maintaining it, this could be a place where they could stay.
Yeah, I don't know if I would ever offer it to an on-site manager. The management of this property is so little that a lot of my tenants just kind of fill in when I leave.
Okay, so this would be good for either an owner or you could use it as a tenant.
Yes, if an owner didn't want to use it for their quarters, they could rent it out. Summer rental up there, this kind of a unit probably should rent somewhere between during the summer $2,000, $2,500 a month.
Now, when you say summertime, most of these are seasonal rentals?
That is correct.
Okay, and the seasonal rental for these is summertime, I'd imagine.
Right.
So what would it be, from April to?
Last weekend in April till about the third week in October.
All right, now would something, obviously the RVs people bring up and they utilize however they want. Would something like this, would this be offered furnished in that case, or would the tenant bring their own?
It could be offered either way. If I was offering it, I would probably offer it unfurnished.
Unfurnished. So you would get $2,000 a month unfurnished for that seasonal period.
Yes,
Wow, that's not bad at all. Okay, so we have 18 units, or 18 spaces, and then does that include?
Yeah, that was I have 19 RV spaces.
19 RV
This
spaces.
would make it. This particular space would make it 20.
Okay, so 19 current spaces, potentially 20. And this is a nice open manufactured home. Very, very nice. Nice kitchen, nice master. So is this, how your property is situated, how do I say this? What's it in close proximity to the property as far as recreation, shopping, etc.?
Okay, we have, as far as recreation, we have 5 mountain lakes, freshwater, and they are stocked by the Arizona State Game and Fish Department almost once a week. So we have a lot of people that come from the valley up onto the rim to get out of the heat and as well as recreation. These 5 lakes are within 5 miles of the RV park, so it's very easy to get to.
Okay. Now you have fishing. Is there significant hunting or hiking in the area?
Yes, they have a lot of places where you can hike. You can a lot of Forest Service roads that were built when they were cutting timber out, and there's a lot of people that own 4 tracks, and they go out on the trails and the forest roads for recreation.
So good off-roading, great fishing. Now you mentioned elk. Is there actual elk hunting in that area, or?
Yes, there's several areas that elk hunting is done within the area.
Okay. So for those, like, for someone that might be interested in either camping or staying there or owning something like this, give us an example of a day in the life of, because you have the beautiful crisp air, you have the trees, you have the hiking, you have the fishing. It's a different lifestyle.
It definitely is. And there's many people from the valley come up to the rim. I think it's like over 30,000 a month that come up there. So there's a lot of requirements that is being met for the people that come up. Some of the things that people do is I also provide about 19, when I say storage units, where people will bring their unit up and rent a storage spot for me. They'll leave it up there all summer and just come up on the weekends and hook onto it, pull it out. We have many places in the forest that has dry camping, and they go out and find a spot out in the forest and just set up their camp. And
So if this isn't roughing it enough, that you could take it a whole step further if you wanted.
definitely.
If you don't want to be this close to a shower, you can definitely go further away.
Well, they normally have a self-contained unit that they pull out into the forest, which has all of the facilities of when they're on a full-time hookup, except that they have to move their unit in and out. I do not allow anybody to stay in their unit in their storage spot.
Okay. Okay, so you're saying that they have their spot here, but there's lots of places where they can go out, like actually just park basically in the middle of in the forest if they wanted to.
Well, that's my full-time units normally would not do that. They would go out for the day, and then also it's the people that do not have a full-time spot that would hook up to their unit, take it out in the forest, and then bring it back at the end of the weekend, and come back to the valley, do you know, a lot of these are working people yet.
Yeah.
So it just gives them a way to store their unit up there, not haul it back and forth from the valley up there, have it on the road, and that provides income to the park as well.
Beautiful. So you kind of you've kind of planned it where you definitely, summer is your peak time, but you have year-round income coming from the property.
No, well, the only additional income would be I charge $150 for the winter season for the full-time hookup people to leave their unit up there. So they winterize it, leave it up there, and that is somewhat low, $150 for 6 months. They couldn't store that unit anywhere in the valley for that kind of money.
So again, another bit of upside. Now, as you come out of the manufactured home, I love how you have this set up. Tell us a bit about this gazebo and what's, well, it's kind of hidden behind it, but you can see the pizza oven back there too.
Yeah, this is a 24 by 24 structure. We use this unit for potlucks and get-togethers, play games, and normally this is shut down for the winter, so everything is stacked up. Normally there's tables spread out throughout the floor area with chairs all around them. So at the end where we're looking now is cabinetry all the way across, which can be used for storage, and we also use the tops of the cabinets for putting potluck dishes and using it as a party place.
Okay, we only have about a minute left, so quickly, tell us about this awesome pizza oven.
Okay, this oven was built by me, and I ordered the structure from through a vendor that has access to. It's a concrete.
Where was it from?
It was from Italy.
Italy?
Yeah, it came from Italy, and I built this beehive dome over it to replicate something that my folks had as in an adobe oven when I was growing up. My mother used to bake a lot of things, that a lot of bread was baked in there. And we do the same. We use it for pizza, we use it for baking different goods, casseroles, and it's really a fun thing.
That's really, really neat. So just to kind of sum up here, you got just over 2 acres, right?
Yeah, that is correct.
19 spaces, 20 if you include the manufactured home.
Correct.
You've had long-term tenants, basically no vacancies for as long as you can remember. Wait list if possible.
That is right.
Okay. You have, compared to what you said you were charging compared to the upside, it looks as though there's almost potentially, almost like a 20% rise if they so wanted. Obviously, you'd have to weigh the pros and cons with your long-term tenants,
Right.
of course. But there is lots of upside potentially if a new owner wanted. It's close to lakes, fishing, hiking, off-roading. You said there's 5 lakes. It's a whole different lifestyle. I guess one last little parting bit. If people want to get in contact with you, how do they do that?
Yeah, again, my name is Fred James, the owner. I can be reached on my phone at 623-203-7769. And if you're looking for more information, I can, you provide me your email, and I can email a flyer on it and give you all the particulars about income and expenses.
It's a beautiful property. Thank you very much for your time, Fred. This is Josh Ezell with Breakthrough Real Estate and Property Management. Have a great day.